Welcome to Rita's Kitchen. Today I've decided we're going to do something hearty for the cold weather, which is a beef neck bone stew. Now I decided to do a beef neck bone stew because growing up we used to eat pork neck bone stew. When I was in the store, I happened to run across the beef section and see that it was actually beef neck bones. Something interesting, right? At least for me. I had never seen any. So that's what we're doing today. I'll let you guys know what all components is going to play along with this stew once we get back. And what I mean by that is the first thing first in Rita's Kitchen. What must we do? Wash our hands. Go ahead, wet your hands. Put you some soap in them. Lather them up. Go in between your fingers. Up and down your arm a bit. Back down your hand. Up under your nail beds, because that's where a lot of bacteria and germs lie. If that seems too long, do the happy birthday song once. For 10, 15, or even 20 seconds will do. Clean hands are safe. Okay, I'm back. My hands are clean. Let's get started talking about this beef neck bone stew. So first thing you're going to need for that stew is, of course, your beef neck bones. Have that bowled up and ready. Another thing I'm going to use, which is the foundation of a soup or stew, which is your mirepoix. Your mirepoix is your onions, your celery, and your carrot. You want to actually saute those off for at least 10 or 15 minutes to get them nice and tender to the taste, so when they boil, you can taste that succulent flavor all the way through. Then we're going to go with some sweet pea. I went with a frozen sweet pea. Let them thaw. It'll be great. We went with a frozen whole kernel corn. You can also do canned goods of these items as well. I do that sometimes too. I went with a couple of Idaho potatoes. Took the skin off and diced them down. Then we're going to do some minced garlic, and moving right along, we're going to do some diced tomatoes. That tomato is going to pick up that flavor and make it more of a stew. Then as far as the seasonings, we're going to do, of course, Old Faithful, which is that accent. Now what I do with that accent when making my soups and my stews and things like that, I actually add it to my water first after sauteing my veg down and then adding my meat. That way it's going into an already pretty much seasoned water, and we're also going to add other seasonings to it along the way. Then what's going to pick up that beefy flavor is that beef bouillon cube, the powder form. That is the best by Knorr. Use the kind you like, but I like Knorr. Next, we're going to do some black ground pepper, however many shakes you want according to your palate. I'm a spicy girl, so my hand is definitely a bit heavy when it comes to pepper. We're going to do a liquid smoke. Why I'm doing that liquid smoke, a lot of you guys may not be hip to liquid smoke, but it's definitely a smoky flavor. Actually tastes like a smoky soup that's been on the grill. So really, really good touch to your chilies, to your soups, your stews, especially your beef or your pork. I don't really do it with the chicken and stuff. If you want to, you can. It's not uncommon. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, go over here to the cooking station and saute off our mirepoix foundation, that is. Be back in a sec. Meet you over there. Okay, so what you guys want to do, you want to melt you down about 2 tablespoons of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil. And you mixing it because you don't want your butter to burn, and it gives your butter a little bit of time on burning. So go ahead and put your foundation in there. And your minced garlic. You're going to give it a nice little stir. And you're going to let it sweat out again for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then we'll go ahead and add some water in our accent and let that come to a boil. And then add the meats. Alrighty, I have allowed my vegetables to sweat down and cook down good enough. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the water like we discussed earlier. And I went about a third ways of the pot because, of course, when you add things, the water is going to grow. So I'm going to put a little accent there. And I'm going to let this get heated up for at least 5 minutes. Then I'll add my meat and let that start. Okay, so I've allowed the water to get hot. I'm going to go ahead and add those beef neck bones. And they fit in perfectly. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually allow these to boil for a good 2 hours before I add my veg and rest of my seasoning. So be back in a sec. Okay, so now I told you guys I was going to allow this to boil for at least 2 hours. Well, I've only allowed it to boil for an hour and a half. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding my ingredients. The first ingredient, I want to add some beef flavor bouillon cube. And it looks like this might be brand new, so give me a second. Okay, so now we're going to do a couple shakes, maybe a couple to a few tablespoons. And according to your palate. Okay, so now I'm going to squirt at least 2 tablespoons of that liquid smoke because that's a very strong flavor and it's going to be really, really potent through your pot of stew. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my petite diced tomatoes. And as you see, I went with a big can because I like for my stews to be very tomatoey. Next is my sweet peas, my corn, and I'm going to take this potatoes and drain the water in one of my bowls that I poured a veg out of. I'm going to add my potato, little black pepper, and now I'm going to just mix it around. And as you see, this is what our stew is going to look like. And we got our carrots, our onions, our celeries, our sweet pea, tomatoes, corn, and that beef neck bone, and all those other good flavors we got planned in here. That's going to be a really, really, really good pot. A lot of people would do this with a good old-fashioned cornbread or a Sweetwater cornbread. Me, no. So we're going to go ahead and let this boil out for another hour and a half and then bowl up and show you guys the finished product of our beef neck bone stew. Beef neck bone stew. So as you guys see, this dish has came to completion. It's a nice pot. I have allowed it to cook. The max time is 3 hours. All you got to do is follow it step by step. Beef neck bone stew again. Voila.